Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Well, honestly, the headline continues. From 2021, let's say, to now late 2025, the same trend continues, and it's kind of crazy because usually these kinds of trends, they'll, start a little, then they'll slow down, or maybe the trend will invert, then it'll pick up again. But no, this trend is just barreling forward, or rather probably downhill, and it's accelerating, picking up steam, and that trend is the Democrat Party is completely collapsing. A full-on collapse. I think what we're watching is the political ground beneath them crumbling. And of course, it's what I've been identifying, especially recently as we've been covering a lot of generic ballot data. I think it's fairly obvious that a lot of these strategies the Democrats have been engaging in, these psyops, let's call them, well, they haven't exactly been bearing fruit for the Democrats. And now, well, it seems CNN is coming to the same conclusion as Harry Enton just dropped a report that the odds that Democrats win the House of Representatives in 2026 have dropped over 20% in just the last couple of weeks. Again, all the lies, the violent hypocrisy, the moral outrage, the blackmail shutdown, everything that they've been doing has been in the pursuit of flipping the political trend, but instead that trend is accelerating. And it's not exactly surprising why. The Democrats are doubling down on everything that made them unpopular in the first place, and now they're surprised as to why it's not working. But anyways, I got a bunch of stunning clips to show you guys. It is bad. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks, so, like I said earlier, don't take it from me, take it from CNN.
Well, we were looking at the Democrats with a very clear shot of taking control of the U.S. House of Representatives, according to the Kalshi prediction market odds. We saw them at an 83% chance, but those odds have gone plummeting down. Now we're talking about just a 63% chance, while the GOP's chances up like a rocket, up like gold, up from 17% to now a 37% chance.
The polls are finally starting to slide, and now the markets are reacting. The odds are sliding. Whatever little bit of fake polling momentum the Democrats had, it's now gone, and now reality is starting to enter the room, especially as people realize, well, if the polls are this close, this far out from the election, understanding how these polls usually undercount Republican strength, understanding how Democrats are usually supposed to be in a position of power right now in the polls, not to mention, just in terms of political timing here, now's the moment that you would expect Democrats to be having a resurgence now that Donald Trump's technically in a non-consecutive term. It's technically a first term. It's their time to steal the show, push their counter messaging, and rise in terms of regaining the House, but that just isn't happening. It's getting worse and worse and worse, and it's likely to get even worse, as Democrats have no ability to win the redistricting battle. This is why I warned Gavin Newsom since day one, you probably don't want to poke the bear here when it comes to redistricting. The Democrats have no more room in terms of gerrymandering. Again, even CNN's covering that.
Go back to April. Look at the generic congressional ballot. What you see? You see +3 Democrats in 2025 in April. You see +3 Democrats back in April of 2017. Now jump over to this side of the screen. What happens? Well, the Democrats are no longer keeping pace with the pace that they were setting back in 2017, 2018. You look back in 2017, you saw that the Democrats had leaped up to an 8-point advantage. I remember covering this. I remember a lot of folks, including myself, saying, you know what, Republicans look pretty decent right now in terms of the fact that they had the House, they had the Senate, they had the presidency, but things were likely going to flip. And I was looking for the same signs this year. The bottom line is it hasn't happened, Kate Ball. When it hasn't happened, Democrats have stayed basically steady. They have fallen off the pace. Democrats were way out ahead back in 2017 on the generic congressional ballot. And now we're basically looking at Democrats ahead. But again, they are so far in back of the pace that they set back there. And so I think what a lot of folks are seeing, folks like myself, are saying, wait a minute, given what we might be seeing in redistricting, is this +3 going to be enough?
But they decided to move forward either way just so Gavin Newsom could raise his political stock, and now everything's backfiring. They're losing seats just in terms of the raw numbers, and every desperate attempt to flip the script has utterly backfired. And speaking of that, speaking of the Democrat voter revolt that's currently happening and accelerating, I got some more proof of it. Here's a C-SPAN caller clip. Just take a look.
I'm a Democrat, but I don't understand what the party is doing. They shut down the government. As from what I understand, is they're holding out because they don't like the orange man in the office. Why are they blaming the other side, when they're the ones that they have to come to the table and do the votes. They have to vote the right way to open the government and make sure that everybody has their checks and is getting paid. And I think it's kind of cruel to actually sit back and not participate because you don't feel like the other party is doing what you want them to do.
Regarding, you mean not doing what you're doing regarding health care?
Regarding health care, regarding all of it. There's a trans section in there as well. They want to give money to afford trans surgeries for young kids and all this stuff that the Democrats have now gone into, which I am nowhere near. In fact, I think I'm going to be leaving the Democrat Party because this happens too often.
Yeah, not exactly your typical far-right MAGA extremist, right? Not exactly ultra-MAGA. No, just normal Democrats who have voted blue their entire life, but they've now hit their breaking point. You got Chuck Schumer and Democrat leadership holding government hostage. Over what? Funding illegal alien healthcare? They claim it's about healthcare premiums when it comes to the ACA, but they refuse to sign a standalone bill that would take care of that issue, so clearly it's about a whole lot more. And obviously what's been exposed, it's a whole political circus act called the No Kings Rally. It's corruption, it's blackmail, and people are sick of it. And of course, it's not just the shutdown, it's not just this No Kings nonsense. It's everything, it's issue after issue. Here's another lifelong Democrat who just recently released this video, and he gives his reason.
I've been a Democrat all my life. All my family been a Democrat all their life. And this BS with Charlie Kirk and everybody acting stupid and don't care about this man life and his family life, I'm done with you, mother. Little boy that got a Secret Service, little black kid with a Trump had a little inauguration, whatever that event was he had, and you guys didn't stand up for him. I'm sick of, man, what the does it matter with you guys? From this point on, I'm done with it. I'm leaving the Democratic Party. You know, that don't make no sense. You guys are tyrants. It just don't make no sense. So you guys need to wake up because you're going to lose your party.
It's Charlie Kirk as well. It's the Tesla dealership bombings. It's all of it. Probably the Jay Jones thing, too. Democrat voters, like I just said, are reaching their breaking point. A lot of people have been on the edge. They've been engaging in all kinds of mental gymnastics and copium as to why they're still supporting the Democrat Party, blah, blah, blah. But as they continue to act out, as they continue to sabotage, lie, manipulate, more and more people are just saying enough is enough. I can't do it anymore. And that's been the trend.
In all 30 states that track party registration, we're putting on the screen the data. It shows altogether Democrats have lost 2.1 million voters. Republicans have gained 2.4 million. That's a deficit that you have of 4.5 million voters.
Over 2 million voters have ditched the Democrat Party across the country. And the reason I'm playing that is because some people would probably say, well, you're just picking anecdotes of individual people who are leaving. It happens on both sides, right? There's people leaving the Republican Party too, right? Remember, hashtag Republicans for Harris? But we know that that's not a real thing. That was a total astroturfed plot. It's not happening on both sides. What's happening is the Democrats just continue to bleed and bleed and bleed. They're bleeding support, and there is no parallel exodus in the GOP. That's why election after election, Donald Trump is performing better and better and better. That's why his approval rating continues to go up. And I think in a lot of ways, not to take away from President Trump's stellar work, but a lot of that has to do with the Democrats' own self-sabotage. The Democrat Party is collapsing because people are not buying it anymore. They're tired of all the labels, racist, homophobic, Islamophobic, misogynistic, blah, 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 blah. They're tired of being gaslit on open borders, on diversity. They're tired of the violent rhetoric. They're tired of watching left-wing mobs torch cities down as the Democrat politicians either call it justice or peaceful protest. They're tired of the media hoaxes, the Smolletts, the Covington kids, the Very Fine People hoax, the Russia hoax, the J6 hoax. It goes on and on and on. They're tired of the lawfare, and they're tired of these pathetic little gimmicks, performative psyops. And you know, 2024 should have been a wake-up call for the Democrats, but nope. They've doubled down. At this point, they've quintupled down. You know, what they should have done is take a step back and maybe reflect on their unhinged behavior following 2024, on their corruption, on their lies. But instead, what they decided was, you know what, let's just take it up a notch. What our radical blue-haired freak voters want is for us to be even more unhinged, and so let's give them that. And well, it seems to be backfiring quite spectacularly now, isn't it? This is supposed to be their moment, but it seems like they're about to fall into a pit. Let's call it the Democrat pit of despair. I mean, look at what's happening in New Jersey and Virginia. Democrats should be winning by double digits, but both races are now within the margin of error. If that's not proof of Democrat collapse, then I don't know what is. This is supposed to be their moment to build energy, to galvanize their base, but the sad reality for them is their base is dwindling. It's becoming smaller and smaller and smaller and more insignificant by the day, and here I am presenting more evidence to that fact. Anyways, that's what I got for you guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.